What is up, everybody? It's your boy Troy King, aka T King Mode, and TL Fantasy Football is back in the building. And right next to me is my homie, the one and only Laquan Jones, aka LQ, aka Real Deal Fantasy, aka
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Fire Content Only. LQ, tell the people how you feeling, man.
What up, what up, what up? I'm feeling good, man. Listen, I know you see this board behind me. I mean, I had to bring it up. Like, you got your ass whooped again. The series is 2-1, my guy. How you going to respond?
Man, before we get into all that, we got a shout out to the people in the chat. Fizzle Dollars, we appreciate you. Ricardo, Dynasty Barry, we appreciate y'all rocking with us in the chat. George, I see you. Yo, Taryn Cloud, I saw you earlier. Thank you guys so much for coming in with us, rocking with us. We have such a good time. And look, this show, just to let y'all know this show, we're going to do a quick recap. We're going to get into waivers. We're also going to be doing start sits. We're going to be answering your questions, bro. So if you guys have questions, we're going to answer those later on in the show, but we got y'all, right? We're going to do a Q&A, redraft, but I appreciate y'all. But make sure everyone in here, make sure y'all liking that video. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Let's get into the freaking content, my dude. Let's kick things off with Monday Night Football. Very quick recap. All right. Raiders, Chiefs. Look, we've been recently, but it's a lot to uncover. We have been getting a lot of crappy primetime games, but last night wasn't one of them. Last night was actually lived up to the hype. It was interesting. There's a lot of different things that came out of it. Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, they all look good. They all balled out. Unfortunately, Darren Waller gave us a big fat 0 because he had a hamstring injury, which sucks because I lost some matchups, but you could have won some matchups. It's one of the reasons. So just for y'all know, I had Darren Waller going against LQ, and I lost. And I was pissed about it, but you know what? There's a lot of other things that
like you lost. Like you was talking shit earlier, though.
I was talking.
You're losing.
I was, but you know what? I lost fair and square. I lost fair and square.
I'll in the playoffs, maybe if you make it, but
man, I'm definitely gonna make it to the playoffs. But Patrick Mahomes balled out. Kelsey with his 4 touchdowns, and he just
crazy.
It was absolutely crazy, but you know what?
If you faced that man last night, whew.
Bro, it was unbelievable. But also, CH was a letdown. But do you have any other thoughts? And hopefully, Devontae Adams, he doesn't get into too much trouble after shoving that photographer.
That boy getting suspended. That boy getting suspended hard.
I don't know about hard. He maybe, if the worst, I think he maybe gets suspended for a game.
But still, come on, bro. Like, I know,
bro. What's happening outside your house, bro? You got police sirens. We're trying to do.
It's California. There's always fire trucks. There's always a fire. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm here. Nah, that joke.
Oh my god, that's slam. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Toronto Dave, I see you. Ray, I see you. David. All right. Do you have any other before we move on to waivers? Do you have any other thoughts about the game? Any takeaways that we should be concerned about?
The main storyline that is kind of frustrating is CH, really, because he looks like he could be a guy that has a lot of red zone opportunity, but he still sucks on the goal line. But they're using him as a wide receiver, which is good. So you have that upside, but it's what week will be that week to put him into your starting lineups? Because I'm pretty sure you got him for cheap, just where Miles Sanders was going. Those two were the guys that you're getting as RB3s, but that's the only takeaway from the game. It's still frustrating to figure out what to do with CEH on a week-to-week basis.
Nah, look, I feel you. I feel like CEH, because he's been touchdown dependent, just like you said, but I think you're going to play him. He's getting really good opportunities for the most part. Jerry McKinnon looked really good. He broke off those tackles, but
he did not skip leg day.
Sheesh. He did not skip leg day, thankfully, but I feel like, most of the players that you played, they're good. You don't need us to tell you it's good. Week 5 is in the past. We moving on to week 6, y'all. And
I know y'all hear that, chat. Stop asking me about the Rams game.
We could talk about the Rams game, but listen,
we're not talking about the Rams game.
we could talk about the Rams. I'm just playing. We want to talk about the waivers. Let's talk about waivers. I know most of y'all in here for the waiver wire content. We got you. After this show, I'm putting in my waivers, so I might have to hurry up just to get through it. I'm just playing. I'm gonna make sure it gets y'all right the player that you need to focus on, right? Because we always have players that come out of nowhere that exceed expectations.
Yes.
Focus on some of the guys that you really should be prioritizing your fab on, right? So let's start off with QBs. So QBs, if you don't know by now, Geno Smith. I'm desperate for waivers in some leagues. Yeah, some leagues I'm balling now. But let's talk about Geno Smith, man. Geno Smith is doing what no one expected him to do. If he is on your waivers, and unless you have an elite quarterback, I'm playing Geno Smith. Right? Unless you have a Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, someone like that, you should be having Geno Smith in your lineup. He has been absolutely consistent. What do you think, my dude?
Listen, Geno Smith right now is lighting up the board. I mean, he's number one in completion percentage, number one, in passer rating right now. And these are like actual facts. Like these are things that are really happening in 2022 with Geno Smith. And like Troy said, listen, if you don't have an elite quarterback, Geno Smith is sliding in right now to have, a decent amount of games. Like we're looking at him having 2+ touchdowns. This is his third game like that with 0 interceptions. So that's something that you need to know, that he's taking care of the ball. So you wouldn't have to expect too many turnovers, but who's to say, an interception happens there and there. I'm not going to say he's going to stay perfect, but he's playing good ball.
No, he's playing great ball, man. I can't believe there was even a conversation between him and Drew Lock. That was disgusting.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's not even bring that back. That was ugh.
It was disgusting.
Why'd that even happen though? Like there was nothing that we saw to even want that to happen, to be honest.
No, but thank God that Drew Lock's not the starter and Geno is. But there's some other guys on waivers that you can look at, man. Carson Wentz, real football wise, hasn't been great, but for fantasy, he's put up 20+ points, or I think maybe 3-4 times this year. So it's just like,
I mean,
it depends on the format that you're playing.
Times. I mean, you better, you know what I mean?
Exactly, right? And like, look, fantasy football, you don't need to necessarily be good in real life. You just got to put up points. And Carson Wentz is doing that. He could have those off weeks that could kill you, but with bye weeks coming, that's another thing we have to talk about, right? Bye weeks. This is the start of it. So this is why waivers are more important now than ever. And let's talk about some of the teams that are on bye. That these are reasons you need to really focus on waivers. Yeah. You got Lions, Raiders, Titans, and Texans all on bye.
Heavy.
So let's talk about some other quarterback. Another quarterback that's on waivers that I know he's not the sexiest. Jimmy G. So Jimmy G, I know people don't like Jimmy G. He gets Atlanta. This week. If you're streaming quarterback, if some of those other options we talked about are gone, Jimmy G isn't a bad play this week. Look, we know Atlanta hasn't been a good defense for a while. I think Jimmy G could really take advantage of him at the soft matchup. And Justin Fields, he's probably the last on my list, but Justin Fields, to me, I prefer not to have him, but he has a rushing upside. He didn't look bad last week. Actually looked, that's probably his best game of the season was last week.
I can't put him in the starting lineup even if I'm streaming right now, because you got guys like Daniel Jones is out there. I'd rather get Danny Dimes over Justin Fields, to be 100% honest. And Daniel Jones doesn't have any wide receivers, which is nuts, but he has Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, let's talk about so Taysom Hill. I don't know if he's a QB. I don't know if he's a running back. I don't know.
That boy is a player. He got a jersey and a helmet and a name on the back. He is a player. I'm not labeling that man nothing.
All I know is, look, he is not. I don't know. He's not a tight end. He's
like tight end 7 right now.
But the thing is, he's not. He has the tight end designation, but he's not a tight end. He's barely played tight end all season. But look, he's a cheat code. So how much? Okay, in fab percentages, what are you spending on Taysom Hill? If you have $100 budget, what percentage of that are you spending on Taysom? Because I feel like I've seen people take different approaches. You personally, what are you paying for Taysom Hill?
I mean, like, we're looking at like 10%, because he's only doing this because Winston is not in at quarterback, and not a lot of trust is in Andy Dalton. I mean, when Winston was on the field playing, we saw a sprinkle of Taysom Hill. Now we're seeing a lot more of a bug, a cancer, a guy that's taking away carries from Alvin Kamara.
Cancer.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, come on, man. I have one share of Alvin Kamara, and I didn't realize like it's the red zone, and we got a wildcat with Taysom Hill taking direct snaps and having touchdown after touchdown. Like, this isn't something that we need to see, week after week. So I'm praying Winston gets back in that lineup slowly but surely because he has a back injury. But I'm not spending more than like 10%, man, because this is like very short-lived. This isn't going to be something for the next X amount of games.
I feel that Taysom Hill I prefer in like a multi-flex kind of league, like where you have different options.
Conversation, yeah.
And you just have to know what you're getting with Taysom. I think as long as Andy Dalton is the quarterback, I think you can play Taysom. Even when Jameis is the quarterback, Taysom Hill is going to be involved. It's just we played this game before. He is just very unpredictable. You just don't know what you're getting from Taysom Hill, unfortunately. So just if you're okay with that, then you're okay with it. You just have to understand what you're getting.
If you're 0-5, it won't hurt. Put it like that. Throw him in the lineup. Like, you never know. I mean, you're 0-5. You got nothing to lose. You ain't
exactly. And I'll say this. Compared to some of your other tight ends, like, listen, I'd rather play Taysom Hill than some other streamers that, or get you 4 or 5 points. At least Taysom, he gets 30, 40, but the next week he get you 1. But I'd rather play that upside and a lot of these other streamers that you're getting. Like, I don't like Evan Ingram had a decent game, but like he's never going to give you that Taysom Hill upside. But maybe Evan Ingram be more consistent, but it's just not
Hurts will be the next guy to probably do so, with his targets increasing in the red zone.
But I say Toronto Dave, like I played, these were dynasty leagues, but I played Taysom Hill a lot, especially in time in premium leagues. I love playing Taysom just because you know what you get, but it's a risky bet. But we can stop talking about Taysom. I think everyone knows that he's volatile, and we might as well just round off other tight ends, right? You got Hayden Hurst, Irv Smith, Evan Ingram, Kate Otten, the rookie out of Tampa. He wasn't bad. So you have different options, right, for tight end. It's just not sexy. You know what you're getting when you stream tight end. All right, let's move over to wide receiver. I only have a few on my list. You got like guys like Nico Collins. Nico is on bye, but Nico Collins has been emerging. He's still available in a few leagues. You got guys like Donovan People-Jones, Alec Pierce. Is there any other name that we should be talking about?
No, those 3 people are like top of my waiver list just based on we're seeing an increase in their usage. And you look at Nico Collins right now, and it's starting to develop, where that ball is getting spread between him and Cooks, which is good. Nico Collins is such a great big time receiver, and the touchdowns are on the way because he's going to have that red zone look more so than Brandon Cooks on the season long look. So he's one of those guys you could pick up quietly because he's on a bye. Nobody's going to be running to go get him because, again, he's on a bye. So him and Alec Pierce are probably like 2 people are like very interesting because once they get the volume, they can have that consistent week to week. You could plug and play them into the flex position.
No, I agree. I think that's a fair take, and I don't have anything else to add. Lastly, let's talk about running backs, man. Before we get into starting sits, we'll talk about running backs real quick from waiver wise. Look, Ken Walker, everyone's been talking about Ken Walker. If he's available in your league, he's the obvious choice. I spent all my fab on him. If he's on your waiver somehow, spend all your fab on him. He's absolutely worth it. He's gonna get the work. He's the reason why you spend fab, right? This is the opportunity that you're looking for. The talent, the opportunity. Spend all your fab. Empty your pockets for Ken Walker. I absolutely will do that. And you got guys like next. You got guys also like Benjamin, right? Benjamin, all of the Arizona Cardinals are hurt. All the running backs, James Conner, you got Jonathan Ward, Darrell Williams. So we'll see. And then I think they're trying out some running backs. So Benjamin, if none of them could go, especially Conner, has a really solid opportunity. So
last man standing.
And then look, you guys, so tell me, what are your opinions on guys like Rashad White, Jerick McKinnon, and J.D. McKissick? What are your overall thoughts on some of these dudes?
I mean, they have opportunity when the guy in front of them gets hurt. I mean, we're looking at them slowly but surely getting more involved. They're putting fancy points up on the bench or on the wire. I think they're all good stashes. I mean, obviously, when their big guy goes down, you don't want to be running and having a fab war or going to waiver priority, waiting to get these guys, because I feel like you gotta get these guys where like it's quiet. Like it's really quiet for these guys because except for Jerick McKinnon, obviously with their situation, but it's already questionable with that running back committee because again, where's he going to be used? They're using CEH as a receiver, but we know Jarrett McCann can catch the ball as well. So right there, I feel like you got to get these guys before it gets too hot.
No, I agree. And like J.D. McKissick, he has been extremely consistent as a receiver. He's been getting, I think, 5+ targets almost every single game. Even with Brian Robinson, I think Brian Robinson's going to impact Antonio Gibson more. He's going to impact J.D. McKissick. I think his role is solid, especially in full PPR leagues. I absolutely love J.D. McKissick. I think he's somebody that might get a little bit overlooked that people don't talk about enough. I absolutely love J.D. McKissick in deeper leagues, full PPR leagues. Again, he's getting the targets. We know those are more valuable than carries overall. So love J.D. McKissick. But all right, guys.
Even the Njoku topic real quick. You got Ray asking if he's inside top 6.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I mean, at this point, he's definitely borderline. He just has. It's crazy because David Njoku has let us down for years, and we finally see a string of games where he's actually
for years.
You're right, but we actually see a string of games that's actually it is, and I think that I feel like David Njoku, because who else is hovering around that? You got guys like Dallas Goedert. I prefer Dallas Goedert over Njoku.
I'm about to say Goddard and Hawk are close with him.
I like David Njoku better than Hawk, but I think it's close because I feel like we only saw Hawk pop off when everyone else was injured, right? It's what they're saying about Amon St. Brown last year, right? Oh, he only balled out when he was injured. That's really what Hawk did. He only balled out because everybody else was injured. So give me David Njoku over him, but tight end is so frustrating. I put a tweet.
Top 6, you can say it's like safe. He could be top 6 and be at number 6, and I feel like.
Yeah.
Reason why what's holding me back to like full lock-in minutes when Watson comes back. Like we don't know what this is going to look like. We don't know if Watson is washed. We don't know if Watson's going to even look his way. We don't know if he's going to use and abuse Amari Cooper. Too many questions there to say rest of the season he's a top 6 lock.
And look, it's true. He's better than I'd rather Njoku over all these guys in redraft purposes, right? Absolutely. And Schultz, I think at this point, when Dak comes back and Schultz is healthy, do we see that change a little bit? I think we might see that change a little bit.
Schultz just re-aggravated his PCL, so it's like he might end up being gone for a while. He might be.
No, but the last report I saw is that he still has a chance to play. It doesn't he re-aggravated? I don't know how serious it is, but he's somebody where he might not pay off for a next.
But do you trust him? Yeah. Somebody that's injured, re-aggravated. Are you going to put him in your starting lineup? Hell no.
This week, I'm not. I try to pivot, but again, tight end's gross overall, so there's not that many good options. But
at this point in the season, I think if you're streaming, just lock in that one guy that's doing okay. Hayden Hurts is probably like I said, I like Hayden Hurts. He might be quiet one game, but like we saw, he shows up and he's scoring touchdowns. So it's like, this is exactly what we need from a tight end. We're only looking for like 9 to 10 points from a tight end. That's good for me. Anything above that, thank you. Bless me. You know what I mean?
Nah, look, I feel you, and that's fair. But we talked about tight ends a lot. Now, what we're gonna do, y'all, is that's the end of our waiver wire portion. We are now gonna get into start sits, right? Look, we have these questions every single week. I don't know, man, because it's been hard, right? It's been hard to predict start sits, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna break it down game by game. We're gonna compare some guys within that game depending on the team, right? So, for example, like Jets Packers, we're gonna do like start and sits, like kind of like a this and that, right? Would you rather start him? Would you rather start him? Because we've seen a lot of these questions on the timeline, just different conversations. That's how we're gonna break it down. And after, also make sure to start dropping questions in the chat, redraft questions. We're going to get to those towards the end of the show. But right now, we're going to get to start and sits. We're going to break down some of the games that have more compelling storylines, right? Or more fantasy relevant players. So, and also before I go into it, make sure y'all liking the video. Make sure if you're not already subscribed to the YouTube page, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. All right, let's get into the first game. Thursday night football. Commanders versus the Bears. All right. So, Antonio, look, this one's a good one to me. Tell me, who would you rather have? Would you rather start Antonio Gibson or David Montgomery? Which one? In the chat, y'all answer these questions too, man. Who would y'all rather start? Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, and why?
Man, this is pretty nasty work because Antonio Gibson actually has a nice matchup because against the Bears with the run, they're giving up a lot of yards per game. And I feel like, we have to wonder if Brian Robinson makes his debut, like big debut, where he takes over again majority of the carries, and where we could see a big game from him, and then he's going to be shooting up in the rankings. But if I'm going to play it safe, I'm going to go with David Montgomery, to be honest, just to have that touchdown upside.
I feel like that too. I mean, yeah, I just feel like Antonio Gibson's stock is really plummeting. So give me Monty. I don't like either of them. Look, overall, it's a gross game, right? So we're gonna go through this quickly. There's some better games. So we're gonna go through it quickly.
Absolutely.
Last one I want to know is Brian Robinson or Khalil Herbert. Which one?
Brian Robinson, just with the chance of taking over the workload again.
All right. No, I think that's fair. But what game I want to talk about that's actually really fantasy relevant, or pretty fantasy relevant? 49ers versus Falcons. We're gonna talk about tight ends again, y'all. Kittle, Pitts. If you have that option on your team, who do you think scores more fantasy points? George Kittle or Kyle Pitts? If Kyle Pitts plays, who do you think scores more fantasy points?
If Kyle Pitts plays, I'm still gonna go with Kittle. I think Kittle has a bigger role. He's more of an impact on the offense. Like, obviously, Atlanta's not really missing Pitts. Well, they are in the winning column, but the offense is moving. They're running the ball very well. That's the thing. They're getting the yards on the ground. This Bucs game division. I mean, this Bucs game. Like, listen, they're a tough defense. They're always tough against the run. But overall, before that game, Atlanta's been running the ball very well. Mariota and those running backs. So.
And they've been running it well, and they're not passing it to freaking Kyle Pitts. I don't want to start any of them, but look, these are people. Look, there's some people who might have that. They might be doing it or trying to trade for one of them. Like, you got to think about these things. And then
I'm selling Pitts in redraft. Just I got to get what I can get while his name still sells. That's where I'm at. That's where I stand on it personally. If I can pull it off, then I'll do it.
No, I think that's fair. All right. So a more realistic one that people might have these on the same team: Brandon Ayuk or Drake London. Who would you rather start, Brandon Ayuk or Drake London?
Drake London, because if they are going to pass the ball, we know they're going to him because he's the top target. So I feel as though you got to go with the guy that's going to see the most volume. Brandon Ayuk, we still got Debo, we still got that running game, we still got Kittle. There's a lot of minutes to feed.
So before we move on, Kyle Pitts. So Kyle Pitts, he's wanting to know, what can you get from him? You're going to be selling him, right? What are you getting for Kyle Pitts? Like, what are you trading him for? I mean, could you trade him for? You obviously want a tight end plus, but what tight end?
Not really. Where I'm at right now in my one league, it's my home league, cutthroat season. Shout out to my guys from home. I've been streaming. I've been getting what I can get with the tight ends are on the waiver wire. And if I can get him, I honestly need a wide receiver. So Kyle Pitts has that value for you can get a nice wide receiver, a wide receiver too. I'm not too sure off the top of my head what I can, spew out or what I can get, but I'm trying to get somebody that has a high target share. Like, maybe I'll give up Kyle Pitts for maybe a Deontay Johnson right now, who still holds a comfortable 24%.
I don't know if anyone's giving you Deontay Johnson for
Kyle Pitts. Listen, his name sells, and again, all leagues are different. Let's not say that.
You're right. No, you're right. All leagues are different. There are people who are Kyle Pitts truthers that think they're going to turn it around.
Yeah, they believe in this man. They love this man. His name still sells.
I agree. So I pretty much get. So you're trying to sell him for like a wide receiver 2 or a tight end. I like this.
I get a tight end plus.
I like this. Jacoby Myers. I would do that. I would sell Kyle Pitts for
he's another guy that has a healthy target share as well. And hey, he scored a touchdown too with 111 yards. I'd love to see that. My guy Jacoby is going to get touchdowns this season. I got 6 on the season. Clip that.
But no, I really like that, Jay Rich. I really like that Kyle Pitts. Yes, you're looking for like some of that parallel, right? But like, again, either a tight end, I guess, like tight end 2 plus, or you're going to try to trade him for a wide receiver 2.
I'm usually the guy, like, especially if it's not a premium, like, I'll stream tight ends for the rest of the season, especially if I have a good value of a tight end like Kyle Pitts, where I can get a wide receiver 2 or potentially a running back 2 if that even pulls off, and then some. Like, I feel like I'm good on tight ends. Like I'm not expecting much from them. Like I'm good with the 8 to 10 points. You know what I mean? Like you find the end zone, thank you. God bless you.
Okay, so staying with this game, Tyler Algier, right? Obviously, he's gotten more opportunity now that Cordero Patterson is on. Do you trust him? Are you starting him? Are you starting Tyler Algier over? Look, let's be honest. Look, in the same game, Tevin Coleman. I know it's a little bit gross, but Tevin Coleman balled out last week.
Yeah,
Do we
like
see more Kev?
do you see points?
Yeah, do we see more Tevin Coleman going forward? Obviously, Jeff Wilson had a great game, but would you rather trust Tyler Algier to be the guy, or would you
This is
rather play someone
disgusting.
like it is gross, or would you rather play someone like Tevin Coleman, who's coming off a really big game, got a lot of different opportunities? Who would you rather have? Are you going with Tyler Algier because they're going to be running offense, the RB1 right now, or do you pivot to someone else, like again, like a Tevin Coleman or someone like that? What is your opinion on Tyler Algier? Do you trust him or are you playing him?
Tyler Algier, man, he has that bell cow in him. That dog is in him, and we saw it, when he had that burst. But like I said, the Bucs defense, that's tough. That's a tough matchup, and I actually gambled starting him in a couple leagues, which was, it is what it is. But when you have randos scoring, it's like annoying. Like, why is that not Tyler Algier in the red zone? But you got to deal with that when you're dealing with an offense like that. But I'm not starting Coleman. I think he's a 1 week wonder. I think he popped up this week and he'll be gone the next 3 weeks. I'm not too sure if there's any traction on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they sent him to practice squad, but there's a very good chance they're gonna do what they did, elevate him right before the game. They like to, manipulate.
Damn,
They like to
Jordan
manipulate the
Mason,
roster
bro.
spot. Okay,
That's
yeah,
annoying.
I would, if you can sell Tevin Coleman, then absolutely sell him for a decent off. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. But there's some people who kind of think like us, like, okay, like it's Tevin Coleman, right? So it's like if you can't sell him, are you gonna play him, right? So it's absolutely disgusting. I know, but look,
Yeah,
if he has, if he hasn't,
the Jets outplayed Tevin Coleman. Let's just say that. Like, get what you can right now.
Yeah, let's stop. Let's move on. I'm tired of talking about Tevin Coleman. Let's talk about the Jets and Packers. We alluded to that earlier. So Jets and Packers have a lot of fantasy relevant players. So I'm going to ask you a question. Would you rather play, and this guy hasn't been performing well, Aaron Jones against the Jets defense or Breece Hall? Who would you rather play? Or is this an easy question to y'all? People in the chat answer it too. Aaron Jones or Breece Hall?
It's not that easy just based on we're looking at Breece Hall with his, scrimmage yards. I mean, the dude fucking blew up last week and you'd love to see it. The question is, he's, with the red zone opportunities, him and Carter are literally splitting that shit in half, which is like not doing Breece Hall any justice. But Aaron Jones, man, you got to look at what he's been doing. He hasn't been hitting that hard in the yards area. And Breece Hall, he's getting it done through the air as well. I mean, I kind of want to lean on Breece Hall. It's really tough for this matchup.
I think for me, I think it's Breece. I think it's Breece. I feel like Aaron Jones, I feel like he hasn't balled out the way I think most of us believe that he was going to. We thought he was going to get a million receptions. We thought he was going to get a bunch more touchdowns. And he looks decent, but he just doesn't look like the elite RB1. I think a lot of people drafted him to be or expecting to be. Breece Hall is really coming into form. I don't see him slowing down. Yeah, Michael Carter is getting involved a little bit, but I think to me, the question, it's easily Breece Hall. But let's move on.
Breece Hall is leading the league in yards per touch, and Aaron Jones is at number 2.
Really? That's a really cool stat. And
that's interesting.
Let's switch over to the wide receivers, right? So let's talk about the wide receiver one on the Pats, Allen Lazard. And then let's talk about Garrett Wilson. So Garrett Wilson versus Allen Lazard. So Garrett Wilson, he obviously looked really good at the beginning of the season with Joe Flacco. With Zach Wilson, he's looked a little. I mean, Zach Wilson's not really doing that much for his receivers, but we obviously know. But look, we know the upside. So who would you rather play, Garrett Wilson, or would you rather play Allen Lazard? Which one is option?
Hands down, because these wide receivers for the Jets are suffering. The fact that only 3 catches for one of the wide receivers was capped out on Sunday. And, you got to look at it. They're running the ball well. Zach Wilson running in for touchdowns for whatever reason. He's catching touchdowns. Like, this offense is just not leaning towards the wide receivers. Like, they're all suffering. Elijah Moore suffering. Corey Davis seems to be, the number one target, but again, it's nothing consistently being produced. It's like Zach Wilson is the cancer. He needs to go back to the bench for fantasy managers to be happy again.
But listen, I feel like he's Zach Wilson's really been playing like a game manager, and that's really what it is, right? He's been more game manager mode. He hasn't done anything exciting.
Yeah, but he knew what I was saying.
He's coming into his form, right? He's coming into his form. Ooh, I like this. God. I like this question. We're gonna get into Q&A soon, so I want everyone to start dropping your questions. But I'm gonna break format and answer this one. London Pittman. I like London, man. I feel like he's a little banged up though, so we need to watch the practice reports. But I think London, Matt Ryan's been he's been hurting.
He's washed. He's done. The vision's gone. He's holding the ball too long. He's getting sacked out of the fucking world. It's like I can't watch anymore. It's hard to watch because I had so much upside, so many shares of Pittman too. And Matt Ryan was my sneaky QB too, and he just can't stay upright. That O-line is just not what it used to be.
No, I agree. You know what? Let's switch gears. Let's go to the main attraction. There's one game that's everyone's going to be dialed into. I'm going to be dialed into. It's going to be Chiefs versus the Bills, y'all. The Chiefs versus Bills, like it's going to be absolutely insane. So there's so many fantasy relevant players in this game.
Yep.
So tell me though, let's do some start and sits, right? Let's do the running backs first. Would you rather play CH or Devin Singletary? Who scores more fantasy points?
Devin Singletary, hands down.
Why?
Devin Singletary, because he's involved on the ground as the RB1. He's getting the most touches that he's probably seen in his entire career, or versus the last 5 games of last season. The touchdown upside is there for him as well, believe it or not. CEH, like I said, is frustrating knowing when he's going to get you the points. He's not really like a guy you could rely on, but it's good that he's being used more as a wide receiver. But again, who knows? I'm going to go with Singletary if I'm going to play it safe, if I'm desperately need a win this week as well.
I think this is going to be a shootout. I think Singletary's definitely – I like Singletary because he's going to get more opportunities. He's going to get more targets. He's going to get more carries than CEH. But CEH gets the money opportunities near the goal line, he doesn't. So it's just like you said, are you playing it safe? Are you playing for upside? It really depends.
It's getting scary. It's getting spooky outside. I need my dubs like right now.
This man said never CEH. And look, before last game, you were playing CEH, right? So CEH was balling.
Yeah, but it's just frustrating, man. It's very frustrating. I can understand it.
Look, I understand it too, but let's talk about, so who would you rather play in terms of, let's talk about, look, MVS, McKenzie. Let's say McKenzie plays, right? MVS had a pretty decent game last week. So who are you playing? Are you playing McKenzie or are you playing MVS? Which one are y'all playing before?
I'm going McKenzie just based on he's not in a wide receiver by committee. You know what I mean? Like, we know Josh Allen's going to lean on that slot position even in the red zone. So the touchdown upside is there. McKenzie, if healthy, he's out of concussion protocol, 100%.
Yeah, we thought the Ravens. I think this is actually going to be a shootout. But you know what? What we're going to do now, y'all, is we are going to start transitioning from starts and sits. We're going to start answering your questions, y'all. So make sure to drop those questions in the chat. Right now is the time to do it. So you know what? We already got a question right now here. So let's answer it. Should I trade CD and Godwin for Cook? My wide receiver core, your wide receiver core is solid, right? So would you trade CD and Godwin for Cook? Would you do that?
CD and Godwin for Cook.
I mean, his RBs, I don't know, man. I like CD, man. I like CD. I think I would keep as is. I don't know if I would trade him for Cook. I feel like CD's ball. I think he's going to continue to ball. But
absolutely.
But make sure this is the time to drop your questions. So make sure y'all dropping questions. Oh, I saw one here earlier. Okay. Sanders versus Najee. Ooh, Miles Sanders versus Najee Harris.
Oof.
Who are you going for?
Sanders, man. Sanders is playing out of his mind right now. He wants that contract. He's playing good. I'm going Sanders. Najee looks like he's running in mud.
But Najee's depreciation, like, look, he's been injured, right? So remember he got injured early in the season or during the offseason or around that time frame. And ever since then, he sucks. Najee absolutely sucks. Jalen Warren has looked better than Najee Harris.
Burst. What? Najee needs to sit. Honestly, just sit one game.
It's very similar to the whole Zeke and Tony Pollard. I'm seeing a little bit of that with Najee and Jalen Warren. I think Jalen Warren's only going to continue to, really eat into Najee's work. So, yeah, give me Sanders on here too. All right, next question. I have Andrews and Ertz. Would you be willing to start 2 tight ends? Yeah, I would do it. So I don't start 2 tight ends, but when you're getting 2 tight ends that just have an absolutely ridiculous target share, it's not bad. Because look, Ertz is better than a lot of other flex options that you have, right? If people are still flexing Chase Edmonds, for example, right? You're going to play Ertz. Would you rather play Ertz as your second tight end, or are you playing Chase Edmonds? I look, I'm playing Ertz, even if it's not tight end premium, I don't care if your position's a tight end. If you're getting a solid target share and you're scoring touchdowns, I don't give a damn what you are. That's why the flex position is tight end, wide receiver, running back. Now, do I usually give that advice? No, but in this case, I would play 2 tight ends. You in agreement?
Yeah, volume is king, man. You're looking at the top 4 target shares in the tight end position. Absolutely. Full send.
No, so let me look at this. All right, y'all, make sure to keep dropping those questions. We appreciate it. Okay. Are you guys comfortable starting Alec Pierce in deeper leagues going forward? I have to play him. So yes, Dynasty Barry. I have to play him in some of my deeper leagues because of buys this week. You got Amon St. Brown on buy. So yeah, Alec Pierce, he looked good last game. I think he's really starting to establish himself as the number 2 receiver in that offense. So yes, I feel comfortable now.
Well, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. That is true.
I'm like, he's not a sexy name, but I feel like Matt Ryan, he seems to like him. And then I think that he's slowly starting to make his way.
Yeah, ask me in 2 weeks. Put it like that. Ask me in 2 weeks.
But from now, yes, I'll feel comfortable. Fizzle Dollars asking, rank these running backs for the rest of the season. Ooh,
is that Akers?
Hey, yo, Akers shouldn't even be on this list. He's so far last that like he should be off the board. Get Akers out of here. He's absolutely last. Okay, so I'll tell you my list and you tell me if you agree. I'm going Dobbins, Jeff Wilson, Miles Sanders, Akers. That's me. Now, again, my list is Dobbins, Jeff Wilson, Miles Sanders, and Akers.
I'm going Sanders, Dobbins, Wilson.
What? Though, see, the problem with Sanders, right? He had a big game recently, but Jalen Hurts has 6 rushing touchdowns. He leads 6 rushing touchdowns Jalen Hurts has. So that tells me Miles Sanders had that 2 touchdown game. When they get close to the goal line, it's Jalen Hurts time. They're just QB sneaking in with him. So that's what scares me with that. But I feel like with the Ravens, I feel like they've been, obviously they're working Dobbins back in, and I think he's still a little bit on a pitch count, but it says rest of season though, not next week. It should be Dobbins. Dobbins should be number 1. All right, please, people in the
Dobbins
chat.
is not getting catches. That's the deciding factor right there. They both have the touchdown upside. We can't ignore completely of Miles Sanders' rushing attempts in the red zone. He had a career high.
No one in the chat, please tell me what your order is. I'm curious about the chat's order because I disagree with your list so strongly. So please, chat, tell me. I want y'all to order these people. No. It's Sanders to me shouldn't be number 1. I think I get it. The Eagles
you would have asked me last season, I would have agreed with you. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Sanders on the ground, and he's catching passes. I mean, he's getting the opportunities in the red zone, my guy. You can't ignore that completely.
No, but here's the thing. I'm not saying that Miles Sanders hasn't done his thing. What I'm saying is I think J.K. Dobbins has the opportunity going ahead of, as he gets healthier and healthier, he's going to get a healthier workload. He should be number 1. Look, thank you so much, Ja Webb. Dobbins is number 1, bro. Dobbins is number 1 on this list, my guy.
We'll see.
He's
So much
absolutely number
football
one.
left.
Okay. Next question is start one. Bateman, Akers, or Carter PPR. Which one you started? If Bateman, yeah, if Bateman plays, I'm going Bateman. Pretty straightforward. Ooh. Keep dropping your questions, y'all. We're about to wrap it up soon, but we'll get to a couple questions in a little bit, but we're about to wrap it up soon. Okay. Wentz over Russ this week? Yes. I'm going Wentz over Russ. What about you?
Yes, based on the matchups. Yep. Give me Wentz. He's tossing the ball like 45 times a game, so it's there. It's coming.
It's so gross. It's disgusting. Honestly, like it's Wentz. Again, the problem with Wentz is you don't know when to start him. Like, yeah, he's been looking good, but you just don't know when to start him. And I think that's what's frustrating.
Disappointing, man. And like, there's not much touchdown upside with Russ week to week. They're last in the league with red zone efficiency with 21% people. Like, that is absolutely disgusting. And off the top of my head, I believe that Washington's top 10, maybe top 7 in red zone efficiency. So when they get there, they score. And there's the upside right there with Wentz. So Russ, he gets the bench until further notice.
Not fair. So we got a couple more questions left. Okay, Superflex. Would you start Fields Thursday or wait for the health status of Winston, Bridgewater, and guys coming off injury? Ooh. So I think Teddy's upside is similar. I feel like they're all kind of even. Winston, I have no faith in. Like, at least I don't know if he's going to be healthy enough, and also if he is healthy, does he ball out? I don't know if he's going to just automatically just go in there and just show.
This is a huge gamble, though.
This is a gamble. It's actually because Fields.
What is your record?
I mean, it depends on how risk averse you are. I think that I would just play Fields. I'd play for Fields and hope for the best. I would hope for some rushing, man. That's the only thing they say. I need you to be a better thrower. I need you to throw more touchdowns. I need you to do something, Fields. Like I believe in the talent, but man, I don't know if it's the situation. I don't know if it's the play calling, but Justin Fields needs to be better, or they might move on from him ASAP because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't looked impressive. He just looked like super average, like maybe below average.
He's coming along. I mean, finally, he's not a fucking
we need to see more from Fields. But I say this question, I'm playing Fields. Last question we're gonna do: Geno or Wentz? Geno, easy for me. What about you?
Yeah, Geno's playing good and protective ball. Safe bet there.
Perfect. Well, guys, we appreciate you rocking with us again, guys. TL Fantasy Football. We're here Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, we're actually gonna be doing a show on Wednesday. Conflict next Tuesday, but we'll be here Wednesday. We appreciate you rocking with us. Make sure you like the video before you go. If you're not subscribed to the page, make sure you subscribe. LQ, where can they find you and all your work, my friend?
Listen, find me at Real Deal Fantasy on the YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, of course, and I'll be on the timeline. Of course, I'm here at Destination Devi. Shout out to my guys, Jay Rich and Ray G. TL Fantasy every Tuesday, but next week, Wednesday. Thanks, Troy. All week.
But yeah, and y'all can find me at T King Mode on almost every social media platform, but mainly my home base is Twitter. So make sure you follow me there. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Again, make sure y'all like the video before you go. Thank you so much for your support. We're gonna keep rocking with y'all. Destination Devi crew. We love y'all. Deuces, everyone.